Hello everyone, thanks for joining the workshop today on VR and sculpture. I'm Philipp Hausmeier, and thank you very much, the World VR Forum, for inviting me here. Today I'm going to talk a bit about what possibilities are there for artists and sculptors to work with virtual reality. And then afterwards, because it's a workshop, I want everybody of you to have a quick hands-on on some of the tools like Unbound for HTC Vive, and then we can see how much time we have left to maybe try out another tool. But as you know, it's always very important that you try out VR for yourself. If you just hear about it or see images, you don't get it. Yes, please. So I'm Philipp. I studied design in 2003 and also studied art. I actually studied sculptures. I made things with mirrors and steel. And I worked for 10 years and had a gallery representation, international exhibitions. And 4 years ago, I discovered VR and really started from scratch to learn Unity and programming. And it was a very hard learning curve because I didn't have anything to do with this stuff. But I saw the potential of VR. And so I went straight into it. And at the same time, I founded the Meetup in Berlin, which is now one of the biggest in Europe, with 2,000 members now. And last year, I founded Metaphysics VR in Silicon Valley. That was part of an accelerator program, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. So this is one of my old sculptures in 2007. So it consists out of mirrors that I cut into little shards that are placed into a wall, and there was already this interest in immersion. When you stand in front of the mirror, do you see yourself, something else, other spaces, this relationship, and it's really large, so you have this very immersive feeling there. And the next one. And but I realized I came to a limit sort of with my physical abilities to create immersive spaces because of course materials, gravity, you always have to deal with materials. And then this kid showed up at 2013, Paul Malachy with the first Oculus Rift, and I got the first Oculus Rift. It was very, very low quality, but I saw the potential. I saw you can explore spaces beyond physical limitations. You can, discover, explore this relationship between me and the other, in a way. And I decided to go full-time into this venture. Yeah, there was a meme of Paul Malachy, so they used it to make all kinds of memes out of it. Yep. So this is one of my early VR works. And you see here an image of this huge egg shape, and it looks quite two-dimensional, and also in virtual reality it looks very two-dimensional, but once you go into it, it's actually a hollow egg of an inverted texture. So that feeling of being in front of it and seeing it as 2D and then just stepping in, and then you have this large space suddenly around here. These are really relationships I found very interesting. So my own work was quite abstract, trying to figure out the fundamentals of things. Well, I thought last year then, in 2016, it's a bit of a shame that not that many artists are discovering this medium, virtual reality. And with this accelerator program in Silicon Valley called Boost VC, I received the chance to found a startup called Metaphysics VR that tries to bring art and virtual reality together to get artists to try out virtual reality. So it becomes a bit more of a movement and not just single positions here and there. And I think because a lot of artists have kind of, doubts or limitations there, because it's such a technical thing, they wait, and I want to help them to discover it faster. So this is a strategy of Metaphysics. So I've done exhibitions, which I just talk about in a minute. I do these workshops like today, and in the future we do also Steam and Oculus, which is very interesting because it's a different world. It's more the gaming world, and I'm still deciding which way you can present art in that context. But I think VR has the possibility to blur these distinctions. I think that's a great potential of VR. And of course, the dream would be a platform for VR art, where all kinds of VR art are interconnected in virtual reality. Okay, so this is one of the last project I did last year. We asked 6 artists who are quite established but have no idea about virtual reality. We asked them to come up with ideas and sketches, what they could imagine doing in VR. And we connected these 6 art spaces through this portal system, where with the Vive, you just you'd have the controllers, you open the controller and you have a portal, and you can just step into the art space. So this is a bit dark here, but this is one of the works by Anne de Vries, who was also at the Berlin Biennale. And this is a really funny figure, because it always changes its shape and size and gender, race, and it's a constantly morphing avatar in a way. So you never grasp the real thing or being. It's very funny, and the great thing about VR is that you stand in front of it. You have this bodily relationship to it. You just don't. So that has a very different impact on you. There's another piece by Anna K.E. It's a spatial, she calls it a spatial collage of different things, like these walls of shoes that give a very nice sense of depth to the piece, but also natural phenomena like this lava stream that flows through this collage. And I think generally with the artists it's very interesting, because they just mix it up and they come up with ideas that usually nobody can imagine. And we just left it to them what they wanted to do. We just said, okay, give us your idea, we see if it's technically possible, and we execute it for you. So you have 6 very different artworks. Yeah, and then I've shown this exhibition. It's called Nora. I've shown that last year at the Computer History Museum and SVVR, and at a couple of art fairs, Arco Madrid and Art Cologne. And in June, we will show it at the ZKM in Karlsruhe, which is a big institution for digital art, for 7 months. So if you're in Germany or in the area, please check it out. And you can also buy the exhibition at Data Editions online, which is an online art platform. Yeah, so I did this first, that was all about the exhibition. So the first workshop, I came up with the idea early this year because I felt a bit frustrated to just produce for the artists. I mean, that was the stage back then, but now like all these new media coming up, these tools, and I wanted really to help the artists to discover them. So I set up a workshop in April at the Eigenen Art Lab in Berlin. And we worked with 9 sculptors, so people that have absolutely no idea about VR and everything. And they were actually quite afraid to use it, because they thought, like, oh, I'm not familiar with 3D programming or modeling. But I said, hey, it's all good. You learn it easily. And yeah, with these 2 headsets, the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift, and these 2 programs. So this is Andrea Winkler, actually a Swiss artist, who tried out some of the program Unbound. Yeah, this is of course, in the course of every artist got 90 minutes. I wish I could have done this here, that each of you gets 90 minutes to fully explore it. But still, 90 minutes is it looks pretty funny, but it's just an introduction into the programs. But you get a good sense. This is Oculus Medium, Stefan Pannans, also a media artist. And here, which is really great, you can copy shapes very easily, blur them together, mix them up, cut them, things that you couldn't do in real life in that sense, because you don't have the limitations of gravity or the material constrictions. And I think even if you ask yourself, we could discuss this later after the talk, so what can you do with it? I think at this stage right now, you could either show it as VR art itself, if it's getting more and more recognized, but also for artists just to sketch ideas, things that otherwise wouldn't be possible. So for example, I had one artist in the workshop who is just doing casts of bodily parts. So we had this cast, we take this cast also and have it as a 3D model, and he could insert that 3D model into Oculus Medium and then make some changes with it and then reprint it and export it and reprint it, for example. So he had a very different look at this original cast, which was interesting, yeah. Just briefly showing, so it's not only Unbound and Oculus Medium, these are the other sculpture tools. Kodon is really popular. I didn't bring this with me because it's quite complex. Of course, these are tools like 3D modeling tools, although they are more intuitive, but they have a lot of functions like mirroring, and you have to get into it. So, and then you have Make VR, which is on Vive port. And of course, who has tried tilt brush before? Yeah. Of course, the classic is tilt brush for a great introduction. And then you have Oculus Quill is more. It's tilt brush and Quill are different in the sense that they are mostly painting tools and drawing tools. So they are not volumetric. They don't create volumetric shapes. It's a slightly different thing. It's more for illustrators and painters, I would say. Yeah. So these are the. It's a quick overview. Yeah, that's it so far. Boy, I'm already getting sick. Yeah, that's the thing with VR. I don't know what your opinion is. I think with the Vive, with the Vive, it's okay now that you don't get sick anymore. The first, Oculus, that was really an issue that was not solved. But I think it's fine with the Vive. I don't know if you agree on this. Yeah. I can change the ground texture, which is honestly really, they look terrible, but. And it doesn't matter that much. And you can save, of course, things, turn the mirror on. Those of you who have done 3D programming, you see that it's like a mirror function where when I press this, it usually should also go on this side. But yeah, there you go, you see. So yeah, it's clear scene. So I have these different tools, either the ring. I mean, in a way, it's very simple, but it depends on you to. Wait.
You have to practice
practice and.
Really understand what
yeah, here you can also, if I. Here, this is the undo button. And if I turn this one to the right, it's the redo. So I can just quickly say, oh, I don't like that. And the thing with this program is a bit, when you do a lot of it, it's because it's very small. I mean, 2 megabytes. It's when the scene is really full with stuff, you better save it as a model and then create a new one. Anybody wants to try, play a bit? Right. So, yeah, these shapes, and they're working on the format where you can import and export. It's quite basic in a way, but it's yeah. But it's very fluid, and I think for sculptors who have no idea about VR, it gives them. You have to and then you can change the on the right the brightness, the right and the left is the glossiness of it.
you can see all the possibilities. It's very intuitive.
Yeah, it's quite intuitive once you understand it.
Takes a little while to understand.
And this means is when this is on, it means you take stuff away. It's like a negative shape. So if you go to your positive, yeah, exactly.